Welcome to case study of Nantucket Nectars, prepared by Group 5. Introduction. Tom Scott and Tom First, two college friends from Brown University who shared the same interests and vision for business, had invented Nantucket Nectars. Their first venture was floating convenience stores serving ice, beer, soda, cigarettes, and newspaper like any other gas station convenience store. Background. The journey of Nantucket Nectar began when Tom first had an idea to create a peach juice, which inspired two founders to start a side business of making fresh juice. They opened up All Serve Floating General Store. In first year, Nantucket All Serve sold 8,000 cases of fresh juice. Next year, they had renamed the company to Nantucket Nectars and sold 20,000 cases. Case summary. Finance, marketing, and growth. Both founders had invested their collective life savings of $17,000, but the first much needed investment had came from Mike Egan, the founder and former CEO of Alamo Car Rental. Mike invested $600,000 in Nantucket Nectars in exchange for 50% of company and served as a trusted advisor. The capital was used to improve distribution and increase inventory. Founders had used unique distribution strategy to speed up their growth by obtaining exclusive rights to distribution of Arizona iced tea in Massachusetts. Within 3 months, distribution division grew from 2,000 cases per month to 30,000 cases per month. The quality of product came first at Nantucket Nectars. With this mission, product only used pure cane sugar and 4 times more juice than other competitors. They had developed 27 new flavors from 3 original flavors across 3 product lines: 100% fruit juice, juice cocktail, and iced teas and lemonades. They had started new age product segment for young consumer who maintained their healthier lifestyle, serving lighter, non-carbonated, and natural fruit juice. Profitability and cost management. After 6 years in a business, year 1995 represented profitability for first time. The profit margins were low for new age segment, given the founders' emphasis on quality. With the high sales growth, now company's main focus was to increase the production to meet high demand. The second issue they were dealing with was buying raw material and plant scheduling. Company was not able to forecast growth of sales, so they were not able to place future contracts on raw material, and they had to depend on harvest, whereas competitors were more likely to secure a product if there were a raw material shortage. Nantucket Nectar strategy. The company was growing by launching new products to respond to competition. Company had launched another product called Super Nectar, herbal enhanced and pasteurized fruit juice and teas. The forecast indicated Nantucket Nectar should maintain their growth for at least next 5 years. Both Tom were aware their current sales were through variety of channels and they wanted to promote their product further towards supermarkets. The Snapple deal. While company was still growing and surviving through competition, overall economic condition had changed and stock market became very unstable. One of the competitors, Snapple, which was sold to Quaker Oats earlier, now acquired by Triarch, who was giant in beverage industry. This acquisition was sure to affect Nantucket Nectar business as they had better and larger distribution network. Sell. At the end of the case, the founders were to decide if they are going to continue with the growth or they are going to sell the venture and exit out of it.
A significant strategic issue for Nantucket Nectars is the availability of raw materials for use in the main product. Price fluctuations affect Nantucket Nectars more than other fruit drink manufacturers because they use a higher percentage of fruit. Nantucket Nectars has run into problems in the past with not having a priority with produce growers. Thus, when there is a change in harvest prices, the final product is affected. Requiring more raw material means that fluctuations in pricing have a significant effect on the profitability of the final product. A significant strategic issue for Nantucket Nectars is the availability of raw materials for use in the main product. Price fluctuations affect Nantucket Nectars more than other fruit drink manufacturers because they use a higher percentage of fruit. Nantucket Nectars has run into problems in the past with not having a priority with produce growers. Thus, when there is a change in harvest prices, the final product is affected. Requiring more raw material means that fluctuations in pricing have a significant effect on the profitability of the final product. The main problem is that Nantucket Nectars cannot afford to pay suppliers in years when the produce is more expensive. We can see that while prices for some products remain relatively consistent, some fluctuate quite rapidly from year to year. No matter what the product, the price seems to be going up over time. This means that Nantucket must change its pricing structure in order to dedicate more resources to securing a sustainable price on its supplies. We have three possible solutions for Nantucket that don't necessarily involve increasing the price of the final product. Our first solution is to embrace the variability. A draw of Nantucket Nectars is that it uses a higher percentage of natural ingredients to make more wholesome products. Yearly fluctuations in produce price are similar to a farmer's market and the supply restrictions that they face, and Nantucket could capitalize on that similarity. It makes it more special when it's available and economically feasible to include it. This would be advertised as part of the appeal of the Nantucket product. The drawback from this approach is that it makes Nantucket Nectars even more niche than it already is. Taking the approach of being so natural that it's seasonally or yearly variable puts it into an even more differentiated market segment. This may not be a great approach since Nantucket is trying to win over more mainstream consumers. The move could be seen as so niche that supermarkets, which is a virtually untapped resource for Nantucket, would be even more hesitant to take on the product. Solution 2 is to form a partnership with a larger juice producer who already has connections with fruit suppliers. The largest benefit would be that a company like Ocean Spray could help with cheaper raw materials because of its own network of farmers and processors. They could prioritize the Nantucket product line to maintain the quality and fruit content and absorb some of the fluctuations into their other products. Ocean Spray could also use its national distribution network to distribute and expand the Nantucket product offering. A drawback is that Ocean Spray may try to exert some influence over the Nantucket product. They may try to reduce the proportion of fruit in the product or find a less appealing ingredient substitute that could compromise the product and the Nantucket name. Solution 3 is to create a place to put excess ingredients when there is an abundance of inexpensive raw material. A fruit concentrate should meet this need fairly easily. This would allow Nantucket to purchase excess raw material in years with low prices. In subsequent years, when prices increase, they would still have enough fruit supply to meet the manufacturing requirements by tapping into the concentrate reserve. The nectar concentrate could also be marketed as a separate product if needed. Of course, given the nature of the concentrate or other processed goods, it may hurt the quality of the final product.
Out of the three solutions that we have come up with, we believe Nantucket Nectar should embrace the variability and stick with their brand's purpose, which is creating fresh, healthy, and all-natural juices to the daily consumer. The story alone brings passion and sensitivity to the fruit market. In today's society, health and fitness is becoming more prudent than ever. Many companies have dilated their juices with additives and concentrate, and this is what Nantucket Nectars need to stay away from. By producing fresh, healthy, and all-natural juices, this can help motivate consumers to test the product. Since they want to branch out into a larger market, they're going to need to start advertising their story and why their fresh and all-natural juices will be better than their competitors. Another reason why this solution will be best for the company is that it keeps controlling interests within the founders instead of merging with a large competitor and listening to their ideas. By keeping the controlling interests, the founders can pursue their own ventures and advertise their own story, juices, and where they picture the company growing to in the future. If you merge with a larger company, they would have to pretty much listen and probably end up having their juices become full of additives and concentrates. By having their own controlling interests, this means in the off seasons, when the fruit is not being grown and the raw materials are not abundant, they could start creating new ventures such as recovery drinks, fruit protein smoothies, and other drinks that could be tested in the health and fitness industry markets. Once these new ventures are tested, they could try to test the market internationally and hopefully get their passion of growing this business around the globe. To implement this solution, Nantucket Nectar should create a business plan that involves competition outlines, distribution contacts, farmers markets, economies of scales, etc. Once they decide on the path that they are willing to take, they should reach out to the suppliers and start testing some new ideas. Knowing that the suppliers will have down seasons, this is a perfect opportunity for Nantucket Nectars to outline possible new market ventures that will allow more products to be put on shelves of supermarkets. The consumer always is going to want to hear of new ideas coming from this company, knowing that it's fresh, all natural, and healthy. Once the products have been tested and approved, Nantucket Nectar should move to get an advertising campaign together and hit major areas. As they test their own fruit juices and these new ventures, they should sample big cities where people are always on the go and need a healthy alternative to eating 3 meals per day. Advertising is key when plenty of competition is out there, and their brand story and the loyalty that the consumers will have with the brand will go far. The consumer needs to understand who the company is and what they offer. By showing the involvement of different areas in the health industry, consumers will start to take notice. Consumers want to buy into the health industry, but knowing that many of the juices that are in the supermarkets today have a lot of additives in them, it's going to be hard for them to trust. The corporations just have to keep them aware of the positive outcomes they will produce for the consumer.